Well, good morning, everyone. Like she said, my name is Rachel Roberts, and my faculty mentor is Dr. Nan, so thank you for being my mentor this semester. And my topic was on building brand loyalty with mobile applications. To give you a little bit of background on this topic, I chose this for we are now in a digital age, and for the past several years, technology has really been booming. And with the different companies, it's very important for having an online presence has been very popular as we are reaching towards the technology age. Now, concerning customer loyalty, this is very important to companies as keeping their customers and retaining them costs less than it does to acquire new customers. And so that's where we are going with that. And also I have noticed that it was an interesting topic for me as my peers and my classmates and my coworkers, as I can see that they have been using the mobile applications, mainly within the coffee industry of Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts. And this has become very popular for them, and so I thought this would be interesting to look as to the reasons why, the factors behind why they like the application and what ways that could be improved upon that. Now for the Starbucks application, this is a very important part of their company as it was implemented in late 2013 in October, and in mid-2014, 11% of the US sales were from the mobile application. And then you fast forward to mid-2016 in July, and it had doubled to 22%. And then even going from there, as of April 2017, it had risen to 29%. So this is a huge component of their company, and I believe it's still on the rise, and it will continue to rise. And so that is very important there. There are some theories and hypotheses behind the reasons why the customers use the mobile application. And some of them that are relevant are the theories of social proof, instant gratification, and authenticity. And so according to the CrowdTwist study, 43.5% of millennials use social media to spread the word about their products or services. And with social proof, they see that their friends are doing it, their coworkers, their peers, and so it's the fashionable thing to do, and they want to do it too, and they want to feel accepted, and so that's one of the theories behind that. Now, instant gratification, that is also a huge factor going into it as well. For according to a study done by Software Advice, 51% of millennials will remain with loyalty programs if they can quickly reap the benefits. And so with the loyalty programs with Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts, they can see that they get so many stars, and they see that, oh, just a few more stars and I'll get a free beverage. So they enjoy making those purchases knowing that they are working their way towards a free reward. They get instant gratification by doing that. And another theory is about the authenticity. For according also to the CrowdTwist study, almost 50% of respondents wanted socially conscious benefits like charitable giving or one-of-a-kind rewards and experiences as a result of brand interactions. So a theory behind this is they enjoy the genuine and the realness from the app, and also they enjoy knowing that they bring purpose. They're not just another customer waiting in line, but they are important to the organization. So, and then also the factors, the loyalty, satisfaction go along with these, and so these are the theories behind why they would use that. Now, concerning customer loyalty, there was a survey that I did, and the questions were adapted by Chio Chen Chang from his article, Exploring Customer Loyalty with Mobile Applications, the Moderating Use of Context, as well as I adapted some more questions in there as well. And there were 9 different factors within the 29 questions and 4 demographic questions. And the different factors were based upon loyalty, satisfaction, perceived value, emotional value, social proof, authenticity, instant gratification, performance quality value, and time value location. And so like I said, there were 31 respondents. We had 33 questions. And it was distributed by social media as well as email throughout students and my classmates at IPFW. And questions involving the demographics also included the age range, the gender, level of education, as well as ethnicity. And so, like I said, it was through social media as well as through email that it was distributed. It was on Google Forms, and so it was anonymous, so they could just complete the survey. It was submitted, and so that is how that worked. Now, the majority age group were in the range of 18 to 24, so we had 83.9% or 26 respondents were in that age range, so about college age range. We also had the majority were female, so we did have 80.6%, 25 respondents. There were also, the majority was white, 93.5%, 29 respondents, and then the majority, like I said, they were mostly college students, and so some college level, 67.7% or 21 respondents. The other ones, they had their bachelor's degree and vocational and associates with that. All right, so getting to the different factors. So the first factor that was measured was loyalty, and this refers to the extent to which a customer is dedicated to the company's products or services. And this is very important. According to authors Chang and Fong, they explained that it also represents the intention to repurchase, as well as they can recommend the services to their peers, their coworkers, and spread it via word of mouth. And word of mouth is what companies want, and that is a very good indicator, and it's very popular for that. And they also have a tolerance for higher price as well, and they also have the desire to purchase other products from the company as well. And so, like I said earlier, customer loyalty is very important to businesses, as it costs a lot more money to acquire a new customer than it does to keep the ones that they have. And so one of the questions concerning loyalty was my preference for the Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts mobile application would not willingly change. So as you can see here, it was very likely that it wouldn't change, and also likely, and then we had one very unlikely. So the majority of them were loyal to the company, the users of the applications of Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts. Now, the next factor that was measured was the satisfaction. So this means how happy are the customers with the service. And this also goes hand in hand with the loyalty, for if they are happy with the service and satisfied, then they're more likely to stay loyal to that company, and also be harder to sway them to a competitor as well. And so there's customer satisfaction. The question was asked, I'm satisfied with the experience using the Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts mobile application. So as you can see, the majority of them were extremely satisfied or satisfied with that. Now the next factor was based upon perceived value. So this is the view of the customer, of how they measure the benefit of what they are getting from the product. Does the price outweigh the benefit, which is, as you can see, of the image here, and then does the value exceed the costs? And also with the Starbucks Dunkin' Donuts application, it's great for them, for they can have news and updates and specials. So the different specials they have for the mobile application may entice the customers, oh, I want to buy that today, that sounds really good. And so that's a good way that they can do that, as well as seeing the visuals with the different specials. And so the question was asked, the Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts mobile application is excellent amount of time that they offer free drinks after purchasing a set amount. So we had, the majority strongly agreed, and then we had after that, agree and a little bit of neutrality with that. Now, the emotional value, this is the value that a perceived utility of a product is based on the affective feelings or the state of mind. So this is part of the engaged experience, whether they feel if they enjoy the application, if they feel relaxed about it, and how much they enjoy doing that. And like I said, this can be based upon visuals as well. Is it appealing, the different colors, different animations that they have? So this is also a good one that 61.3% said that they do enjoy using it, as well as they agree 38.7%. Now, the social value, this is the notion that the people may follow the trends of society to fit in, to feel acceptable, and also being the popular, fashionable thing to do. So they see that their peers are using it, and they want to do that too, and it's popular that way. And as mentioned earlier, according to a CrowdTwist study, 43.5% of millennials, they use social media to spread the word about the products or services. Now, with this was the first question that we came upon that was, it said the use of the Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts application helps me feel acceptable. And so with this, we did have strongly agree at the bottom, which was less than 50%. But we did have a fair amount of neutrality with that. So as you can see, 38.7% was neutral. And then we even had some disagreements with that, 16.1%. So authenticity, this is one of the other factors, and this is the quality of feeling genuine or real. And the idea behind this is that the customers are important. They want to know that they bring purpose to this, and they want to feel that personal connection. And so the question was asked, I enjoy the personal authentic connection, and so you had 51.6% were neutral with that. And so there was some neutrality with there, and one of the reasons may be because they don't get the face-to-face interaction. Maybe they see more of that in the stores. Instant gratification, this is one of the big factors. They're all important, but this is one of the most important ones. The desire to experience pleasure or fulfillment after they make that purchase. So they see they're able to earn so many points, and they can get rewards such as a beverage. And they get encouraged to make more purchases, as you can see from the graph. Performance quality value. The performance and quality value is the aspect of the interactions, whether that be with humans or applications and environment interactions. And the good thing about the app is that it's task-oriented. There's no room for human error. If you go to Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts, you order through a barista or a cashier, they may mess up the order. But with the app, you have some people are very particular with their coffee, so they can put in the different creamers or different espressos that they want with their coffee. And so we had the majority, 67.7% for that. And then the last factor is about the time value location factor, and also the convenience goes along with this. And so the Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts mobile application saves me time was asked. So the majority of them said that, as well it's useful in finding the nearest location, especially in Starbucks. You can just, it'll take you to your nearest Starbucks, 0.2 miles away. So that's nice. All right, so going to the results a little bit, all of the factors besides the social value and the authenticity were at a 4.4 or above, so I took the average of them all. Now, so these are the factors that the customers care about. So if these are the factors that the customer cares about, the voice of the customer, then they should focus on these factors, and they can improve upon them for the customers or the core business, and that's what is important. The reason behind maybe why the authenticity, as I mentioned earlier, they don't feel exactly the personal interaction with that, so it's more the in-store experience. And the social value, that's not the main reason why they use it, is not because they feel acceptable, but because, instant gratification, they see they're getting that reward, they're satisfied, they have good visuals, convenience, and such. All right, so as mentioned earlier, they need to listen to the voice of the customer. So all of those factors they need to listen to, such as loyalty, satisfaction, perceived value, emotional value, instant gratification. time, value, location, and performance. Now, this doesn't have to stop here. It can be used on other customers for other mobile applications. For example, there's an app called Waiter on the Way, and this is a very nice app that you can order from varying restaurants and they deliver to your home. So not only would this bring loyalty to that app, but it'd bring loyalty to those different factors of all kinds of different restaurants like Buffalo Wild Wings and Casas. And it can also be used for the national chains such as, Blaze Pizza and Ian's, Penn Station, other chains that we can use here. And the future research, as mentioned, the survey was distributed through social media as well as to the IPFW students. So mostly college-age students. So if the study could be done elsewhere, it could involve more diversity in another city, even in another country, because in another country you have different tastes and different preferences, and it could become different there. And then also I put Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks together, so maybe next time they could just focus on one and compare the two. And so that could be done with that. And the acknowledgments, like I said, I'd like to acknowledge Dr. Nan, so thank you so much for being my mentor. I did the poster symposium as well, and so I really enjoyed that, and she's been very helpful in emailing me back and helping me and all that. So thank you so much, and thank you for Dr. Bingy and Dr. Grace for coming today. I asked them to come, and they said they'd come, and they're here. So thank you. Yep, and then I just have my sources after that, so, yep.
Thank you, Rachel. Any questions?
I have a question.
Oh, okay.
Hey.
Hi.
Good presentation. So in your experience as you were thinking about this, how did you feel about how you were asking the questions? And the reason I ask is that what we see is that with questionnaires that just a slight modification of how the question is asked might influence the answer.
Right.
So now that you've done it, what do you feel like you might do a little differently next time?
Yeah, I feel like the questions were asked that were very, like I said, they were adapted from another questionnaire from Chao Chen Chang exploring mobile customer loyalty. And so I felt like a lot of the questions, they were very on point, and my preference for this would not willingly change. If friends recommended another application, it would not willingly change. However, maybe in the future, maybe I could have less questions, because I know sometimes after people ask so many questions, after they answer so many, they get kind of tired and kind of want to go through it fast. So maybe having less. But yeah, I could look into that more, based upon, but like I said, it was on a Likert scale, so that was good, with 5 being strongly agree and 1 being strongly disagree. But then also maybe in the future it could be done, like I said, to other platforms and have a wider audience and such to see if the results would vary.
The question I have is when there are competing apps, like for example Uber and Lyft,
right?
Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks, or if I'm looking at banks, maybe Wells Fargo, Chase, and all other kinds of banks. Do you think there will be people install multiple apps? Would there be any difference in customer loyalty when they have multiple apps and do business with the multiple companies?
Yeah, I'd say that could definitely be a factor, having different loyalties with, maybe they have, both, Uber and maybe another, you said Lyft. So depending, and then also depending upon which one they like better, is it more convenient? Is it cheaper? Is it better quality? There's all different kinds of factors that would lead them to go to one or the other, but, maybe they use both, but maybe they use one more than the other, so kind of to get that even balance. But that is interesting to see, because they might be using the competitors, as you said, both of them.
So then what is the brand loyalty there?
well, they're loyal to both, maybe.
like she mentioned earlier in her future research, with more data, you could compare.
Yeah.
Contrast. For example, you have data for Dunkin' and Starbucks. I believe that you have even a question asking what kind of app do you use.
Yeah.
So yeah, so with more data, she could run
You could
those
have like one app, two
tests.
app, and see there is any difference between the loyalties and I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah, that's an
In the
interesting
future.
point to make. See which one they're more loyal to. Yeah, that's good.
The other thing along those lines, I think, if you think about the proliferation of reward programs at every retailer and hotel and all of that, and it's also usually not, it's free to enroll.
Yeah.
So if you think about having all of those, there are these broad factors that you were talking about, like instant gratification. But you could also then take it another step and take a look at, okay, well, you know, like the question was, do you feel it's something to the effect of, do you think it's an appropriate number of purchases before, you know, or whatever, that before you would get a reward, for example. But then you could also take a look, dive a little deeper and ask, you know, is that what drives you? Or would it be like the social conscious one wasn't really strong, but maybe if Starbucks were to say, you know, for every 100 items purchased, we're going to donate $1 to some cause. And that was maybe through the app. And then maybe people would say, so I mean, I think that would leave it open to really thinking about how the social environment changes over time, and it would be quite interesting to look at another layer of factors.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's very interesting. That would be a good idea.
I have just a question. I'm curious, what do you think in the long term, 5, 10 years, probably 10 years from now, if people are depending on this mobile apps, and what would the future, how does it look? What is the outlook in 10 years with all these companies, including Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts and the others? What are the pros and cons that we might expect at that point?
Yeah. Yeah, well, as I mentioned at the beginning, we are definitely in a digital age. I mean, looking at different companies, you know, when I go shopping in other places, they're asking me, download our app, you know. So they're really looking into that loyalty, especially with millennials. And so millennials, you know, and even, you know, here at IPFW, just thinking about online, like, for example, just a side factor is like everything I submit for my classes is all online. And online shopping has really soared as well. I mean, that's where some companies, I think, are failing if they don't have that online presence. So the online presence is becoming more and more important, especially for millennials. Now, you do have to take into consideration the target audience. Like, for example, you think of the older generation, you know, like I work in customer service right now, and, you know, I have people in their 80s and their 90s, and they call in because I work at Fort Wayne newspapers and they miss their paper. But anyway, none of them have an email, you know, and none of them do online stuff at all. And so, because they didn't grow up with that, and that's not what they do. But as we go farther along, more people are using it, and that's where everything is. I mean, especially with the millennial generation, they look at their news and everything on like Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. And so, and that's how word of mouth gets about. And so I really think that, and like I mentioned, the Starbucks sales, as of April 2017, is 29% of US sales. So that's huge. Like, at the beginning of 2013, you couldn't even download a debit card or credit card on there. And so I think, it's definitely on the rise, and it'll keep increasing. And so that's what's important for companies, is if they want to stay with their competitors and even, you know, get people or get customers to go to them instead of their competitors, that they really need that online presence. So.
And can I add into that? She touched on the right point in terms of who's the target audience. And now we are in the digital age. You know, it's just like brick and mortar stores, big box store. If they're not adapting, eventually some of them are already closed. So they have to keep adapting. Now we are in the era of Internet of Things. So you see that you're going to be connected. But another downside is the privacy issue, because you're going to be tracked. They're going to know everything that you do. So how much you want to share that privacy, or how much you're going to let go to trade off some of those benefits of, hey, I get free drinks or whatever. So I think that's a challenging issues that digital age will have to do.
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.